Hello, I'm Shweta Evangeline, the co-founder of Nexus Bomb. Good evening, everyone, and I hope you all are lively and enthusiastic about today's session. Today's session is going to be very interactive and as well as informative to all the students here. So, without further ado, let's start with the session. Today's session is going to about Google STEP Internship Program. The event's name is Google STEP Made Simple, and we have a speaker ready with us as well. But before starting our session and before you start asking your questions, let's start with something fun and interactive. Before that, I would like to talk about Nexus Swarm community very briefly. Well, this is our vision and mission. If you are new to Nexus Swarm, then welcome. And if you're already a part of our community, then welcome again. So, our vision of our community is to cultivate individuals who excel not only in code but also in communication. So, we basically bridge the gap between technical expertise and interpersonal skills. So, whether you're from tech background or non tech background, you're most welcome into our community. Also, our vision is to equip students with the skills and confidence they need to tackle any challenge that comes their way. So basically, our motto is simple. We want our students to get up from step one to step success. So yeah, that is our motto. And we have many GDG on campuses collaborating with us in the session. We have 9 GDG on campus universities and colleges with us that are collaborating with us today. So we are very happy. They have brought us a lot of audience from their own colleges. We have over 1,000+ registrations. I think it's building up, and we have so many of you looking through this YouTube live session. I'm really happy that all of you are very enthusiastic to join this session on a Saturday evening, that too. Weekends are for fun, right? But if you're here to learn, then congratulations. Pat your back. So, yeah, let's keep the session interactive. Firstly, take out your phones, scan this QR code that is present right here. I'm sure you'll find this interactive. We just want to make the session fun and interactive rather than being a one on one session or just one to many session. So please pull out your phones, scan the QR code, or else go to menti.com and type in the code that is visible on the screen, and you'll be redirected to a screen where we'll have some fun. I see that a lot of you are already joining the screen. Okay, great. I think a lot of you have already joined the Mentimeter that is present here. And a lot of you are already responding. Very great. So, yeah, the first question is, how are you feeling today, little bees? Yeah, obviously, every person in this community is a little bee. We just want to make all the little bees to very queen bees. Okay, everyone's feeling good, excited, not bad, tired, and bored. I hope you will change your boards into excitement later. Okay, everyone's feeling very excited, enthusiastic. Okay, that's great. That's great hearing all from you. I'm seeing all of the likes and hearts I'm getting. Thank you for being so super enthusiastic. We'll move on to the next question. And those who are unable to join this Mentimeter, please don't feel bad. You can always comment in the live chat that is available in your YouTube section. We'll go to the next question. Which city are you buzzing from? What city are you from? Come on. Oh, Nellore, Raipur, Vishakhapatnam. I'm from Vishakhapatnam as well. Hyderabad, Bangalore. We have cities from all of the states. Oh, I see someone is from New York. Congratulations and welcome. Okay, someone is from my city. I don't know what is your city, but I'm sure that your city is very beautiful. Okay, we have maximum students from Nellore, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Nandyal, Vizag, Bhimavaram. That's great. And we have students from different places. That is really great. Okay, let's move on to the next question if you're all are done typing in your answers. Next question, what are you studying? BTech first year, second year. Somebody wrote STEP. I don't understand. I mean, did you write STEP because you're learning about in today's session? Okay. Somebody saying MCA, CSC, BTech, and somebody saying I'm learning C language. And students are so smart, they're even asking questions. Okay. One student asked a question. I think I lost that question in this word cloud. For now, we're not providing any internships. Whoever that student posted the question in word cloud. Okay. Next question. Which year are you in? If you're a student, which year are you in? Oh, most of the students are from second year. And there's a war going between first and second year. Okay, we have most of the students from first and second year. Final years are very busy in their placements, I guess, so nobody's joining. And we have average number of third years. That's great. That's great. Second year, obviously, they are in more number. And yes, we want that as well. This program is especially designed for second years. And yeah, you don't, remaining students, please don't leave just because I said this line because it's beneficial for everyone. But second years, it's more beneficial for them. Okay, that is great. That is really, really great. Thank you for being so interactive. Thank you for joining. Thank you for having so much fun in the comment section. I'm looking at all of your comments. People are so excited to learn. So, without further ado, I'll be introducing our speaker, Satvika Dinukovanta, who is the ex Google STEP intern. She's the GDG on campus organizer as well, and she'll be taking you through the session, today's session. As she's already experienced, she'll be telling you how to craft your resume, how to stand out, how to tailor your skill sets, how to crack this internship program. So I'm wishing you all the best. Please listen to this session, and I hope everyone will like it. It is really beneficial. So, yeah, stay tuned.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. It was very endearing, Shweta. And to all of the folks who are gathered here for this meeting today, I hope you're all having a great day so far. And I hope you're all excited as well because um, this presentation or this particular internship is very important and it is very endearing for me as well. I'm so happy to get to share whatever knowledge that I have with all of you today. And I'm pretty sure we have folks from all years here, first, second, third, and fourth. And everyone can definitely take a piece out of what we will discuss today. Because Google definitely offers a lot of different internships, starting from STEP to third year and your final winter year as like winter internship as well. So I'm very sure everyone can definitely benefit from this presentation today. So yeah, I hope you're all excited for what we'll be discussing today. So a little bit about myself. We'll go to the next slide. So a little bit about myself. I am currently in my third year of college, pursuing computer science from Sri Vishnu Engineering College, Mumbai. I'll be graduating in 2026, and my journey with Google started in my first year of college with a program called Women Engineers. It is supported by Google. And then in second year, just like all of the second year folks out there, STEP applications opened up. And I applied, and fortunately, I received the offer to intern at Google for the summer of 2024. And based on my performance, I received the offer to come back to Google as a study intern for the summer of 2025. And apart from that, I'm also the Google Developer Groups on campus organizer for my college, Sri Vishnu Engineering College, Mumbai. So that's all. And I have a very simple presentation ready for today, just going on about what exactly internships are and how they're going to benefit for your career. We've got a very simple agenda, and then I'll just explain about my journey from, say, going to a step intern to an upcoming SME intern, and then just a couple of resume tips that will definitely help you stand out. Um, yeah, we can go to the first slide here. Great. So I'm pretty sure for all the folks who are in their second, third, and fourth year of college, definitely heard about what exactly internship is and how internships are very beneficial for your career. But if there is anyone who is not aware of what exactly an internship is and how to get an internship, this will just be an introduction to it. So first of all, I would say internship is the best way for you to get experience by not even being directly hired by a company as a full-time employee. Say, for example, you will be working on a project and you and your friends will be able to access it and see it. But by working at a company as an intern, you will be able to access a code base which is probably scaling millions of users out there in the form of a website or an application. So internship is the best way for you to get exposure to how exactly code is written or see any applications or websites that you visit every day are actually built and work for millions of users out there. The internships really boost your career a lot in helping you fetch a full-time role because a lot of times companies do convert interns to full-time employees, and that is more smooth of process than directly being hired by a company. Say, for example, you receive the offer to interview for the company as a full-time employee in your fourth year of college. Whereas for an internship, you will probably be interviewed when you are in your second or third year of college. And the amount of knowledge that is expected from a second or third year student is very different and very less compared to a fourth year student who will be, receiving the offer to be the full-time employee in a company. So that is exactly what an internship is, and it is very important as well in terms of your career in computer science or software development. So let's just go over a couple of things which will really aid you in getting an internship. And also, if anyone has any questions, we'll definitely cover all of that in our Q&A session. Like I said, I have a very small presentation ready so that we'll be dedicating more amount of time to answering your questions. Because as you might already know, STEP applications have already opened up, and I'm pretty sure a lot of second years out there have a lot of questions. So, on to the point on how to get an internship. So there is kind of a hierarchy, and there are some kind of important things that is very important for you to put up an application and be part of a hiring process for the company. Not just like a multinational company like Google, and there are many companies out there which really have very complex hiring process. And by following all of these things, it will definitely help you be a step forward than the other applicants. So one of the most important things whenever you apply for a particular company, um, any company or application that is expected of you is to submit a resume. A resume is basically a collection of your portfolio or all of the things that you have explored in your undergraduate degree in alignment to the role that you're applying to. Say, for example, you're applying to a front-end internship. You would be expected to put up skills related to front-end technologies like React, Next, Svelte, and so on. And you would also be expected to have a couple of projects demonstrating your experience and your knowledge in those particular skills. Having a good resume from your first year of college will really help you. And I'll also explain why later in the next part of the presentation. So, resume is mandatory and is a must whenever you're applying for a company. Then comes the data structures and algorithms or computer programming. In general, the problem solving skills that are required. A lot of companies do consider this as a hiring basis. They would test the candidate by giving a couple of questions, which will, test the candidate if the candidate has good knowledge about data structures and algorithms. And then goes on with the projects. Now, like I've mentioned before, projects make or break your resume. And having good amount of projects and good quality projects will really help your application catch the eye of the recruiter and shortlist you for the other rounds. And also by looking at your projects, the interviewers or any recruiter will definitely understand that okay, so this particular person is knowledgeable and they can adapt to our company and our code base very quickly. So having good amount of development experience is important. You can start out with anything small, like creating a small website or an Android application, ranging to creating complex large language models or some kind of deep learning neural networks and so on. There are multiple domains out there, and feel free to explore as much as you can and try to create some projects which try to solve a lot of real life problems. Definitely. And then comes computer science fundamentals. So, pretty sure a lot of you here might be studying computer science as your major or some kind of allied branches, or you could be from electronic branches as well. So, computer science fundamentals would majorly revolve around computer science subjects like database management systems, operating systems, object oriented paradigm, computer networks, and so on. Now, these CS fundamentals will, having knowledge about these subjects will definitely let the company employees or the recruiters understand that you have a strong hold about what exactly the kind of work that you will be going to do. Say, for example, you're going to work at a company which majorly deals with operating systems like Microsoft. You having an like knowledge about operating systems is must and necessary for that. So if you're a computer science undergrad, you will definitely come across these subjects during your 4 year of degree, and you will definitely have the opportunity to learn at your own pace. But if you're from the circuital branches or the electronic branches majorly, I would definitely suggest you to go through these subjects once. You have multiple resources online and you can definitely learn, and also when questions are asked about these subjects, you will be able to answer confidently. And then comes hackathons. And I would say hackathons are a very good way for you to develop some really good teamwork, communication, and majorly some kind of good development skills. Because basically you will be constrained with some amount of time and will be working with a team most of the times, and you will able to understand how you will be able to coordinate with people who are working on multiple domains. Your friend might be working on front end, you could be working on back end, there would be someone else who would be designing the entire application. This is how majority teams in multinational companies work as well. There is a team for every different requirement, and you would have to coordinate. So I would say hackathons are a very great way for you to get started to just get used to. Um, yeah, just a second.
Can you please confirm if I'm perfectly audible now and visible as well? Yeah, sounds good. So, can I proceed with the session then? Great. All right. So, for all the folks who might have had a couple of audio issues, let me just go over all of the things that we've discussed. So, getting an internship is your gateway to getting into a company or just basically exploring the code base of how applications are built in real life. And one of the most important thing that you require is a resume, which is basically a collection of all of your skills and the projects which demonstrate your skills. And also, you must possess some kind of problem solving skills in terms of data structures and algorithms or competitive programming. And then comes computer science fundamentals, majorly revolving around subjects like database management system, operating systems, and so on. And then I was discussing about how hackathons are very important because hackathons will basically help you gain knowledge about coordinating with multiple teams out there, and also improve your teamwork and communication skills. And then I would also very much suggest you all of to have good LinkedIn presence. It's because most of the times companies, when they open opportunities, you would not be following the career page itself. You would not obviously go to every company's career portal and see if a role opened up today or not. And most other times, a lot of folks on LinkedIn do post all of the opportunities by those companies themselves. And by being active on LinkedIn, just going through LinkedIn every day, you will be able to connect with people who are working at a company, so that you would also, be guided to work at that company someday, or you would get to know all of the opportunities that are being released every single day. So having a good LinkedIn presence is something I can definitely vouch for. And it really helped me a lot because even when I am interviewing for a company, I would definitely try to connect with folks who are working in that company. And I would ask what exactly I must focus on during the entire hiring process. And then comes open source contributions. Now, this is something that is very niche. I don't really think I have found a lot of folks doing it. Um, and as a computer science student, or in general, someone who would like to work in computer science career or such kind of fields, I think it's very important for all to know what exactly is an open source software and what is a licensed software. And we need to also understand how contributing to a particular open source software will definitely help us in, say, getting a step closer to writing code that is actually being written for all of the major applications out there without actually being hired by a company as well. This is something that I would definitely suggest you all to check out because, once again, the amount of exposure for open source is very less and it's very niche. And it is also will make you very unique. And I remember a couple of folks who are into open source, and the recruiters were very interested in their applications as well. So do check it out once whenever you have free time. And then I would also suggest you to keep an eye out on hiring programs. Now, every company has its own flagship hiring program. Say Google has Google Hackathon or Google GenAI Hackathon. And there is also Women Engineers program by Google. And for every company out there, there is definitely a hackathon program or a mentorship program, which basically by you advancing into the next rounds would be considered as, let's just say, a hiring prospect, and they would definitely would like to interview you for the roles in that particular company. So definitely do keep an eye out and try to participate in as many such programs as possible. And then I would say getting referrals. So referral is basically like how a particular employee at a particular company that you would like to work at vouching for you, saying that this particular candidate is a good fit for a role. So referrals are your way to go into a company because, see, apart from you, there will be thousands of applications applying to the same role, and a referral will definitely help you stand out among everyone else. And the recruiters basically for like process your application faster than the other applicants. So if whenever you're applying for a role, try to get a referral because that will definitely boost your chance of getting shortlisted. And then finally, I would end up this particular segment with discussing about computer science research. Similar to how open source contributions are, computer science research is also a very niche concept, and this is also very underrated. So if you're not into traditional software development, you can always choose computer science research. This is a very interesting field, a very interesting career path. You can go explore a domain as much as possible and discover something that has never been discovered before. And also, a lot of institutes of national importance like IITs, NITs, and IIITs offer their own research internship programs, which also hold just as much importance as a traditional software development internship does. So I would definitely suggest you all to check out the research programs, which will be released in the months of December or summers, and they would be also just as much interesting, and you can definitely gain a lot of experience through that as well. So I hope all of you are clear about what exactly internships are and how you can get an internship as well. Now let's just proceed to the next segment where I'll be introducing you to the Google STEP Internship. So Google STEP Internship is an internship offered by Google exclusively for the sophomore years, that is the second year students. And if you are doing a regular 4 year undergrad degree, which the second year students who are doing that degree will be eligible for this program. But if you're doing a dual degree, which is an integrated BTech plus MTech, the second and third year students will be eligible for the Google STEP Internship Program. And also, majorly circuital branches students will be shortlisted, like for example, computer science, electronics and communication, and electronics and engineering students. So make sure you check out the eligibility of the year and branch before you apply to the internship. The application and process would be very straightforward. The applications usually open around November and December, but the applications opening around November in this year itself, I think 2 weeks back. And the process would go on, the interview process, shortlisting, all of it would go on till March in the next year. And then the internship would mostly be spanning around 10 to 12 weeks from May to August, which is the usual summer internship tenure. And once again, it is very straightforward. Whenever the application is opened up, just go on to the career portal and submit your resume and transcripts. Resume, like I've discussed before, is basically your entire portfolio. And transcripts would be the collection of your mark sheets of all of the semesters that you have written so far. It's completely fine, even if they are officially given by the university or college itself, or they could be unofficial as well, like the kind of results that you would see on your result portal. And then happens the resume shortlisting process. So if the recruiters like your resume, like I've mentioned all of the previous things before, and if your resume consists of a lot of such things, the recruiter will definitely shortlist your resume and will have a conversation with you about the further process. And once you are shortlisted, you will be communicated about technical interviews. And after that, based on your performance, you will be given the offer. So this is the process for Google STEP internship application, and it is very straightforward, like I've said. And the most important things would be your resume and transcripts. And we can go on to the next slide, which will be discussing my experience with Google STEP hiring process. So I applied in the year of 2023 for the summer of 2024. And the applications last year opened up in early December. And this year, the applications opened up a month before in early November. So I would say the process is sped up a little, and you would expect this kind of timeline to be just a month ahead now. So luckily, I had my resume ready. I was preparing for this opportunity from ages, and whenever the application opened up, I just got it reviewed by a couple of seniors who cracked the STEP internship and some employees who are working at Google and made some changes immediately. And I applied it on the portal along with my transcripts. And I've been waiting for the shortlisting call, hoping that I would be shortlisted. And in early January, a recruiter called me on an evening and just discussed about my resume. So every part of the hiring process is eliminatory. So the first step would be the resume shortlisting phase, and you would be either selected for the further process or you would be rejected in that step itself. So having a good resume is must. And then the recruiter phone screen happens where the recruiter will basically go over your resume, talking confidently and just answering all of the questions that are directed about your resume is very important. And this is also once again eliminatory and be as confident as possible. So in my recruiter phone screener, I was asked very basic questions like my primary programming language, how many coding questions I've solved so far, what are the different coding profiles that I have, and what are the different projects that I have done. Very straightforward. And based on this, I received the technical interview invite 2 weeks later, wherein my first round of technical interview, which was around 45 minutes, conducted by a Google employee themselves, I was asked a very basic data structure question, two questions. One question is a direct question, and the other would be a follow up. Usually, you would be given a couple of questions, and based on the employee, the interviewer, you would be asked follow ups. And I was asked, I'm not allowed to reveal the questions, but I was asked a question about the stack data structure, and the follow up was also about stack. And then, based on my performance and technical interview of round one, I received the invite to the technical interview round two, which was just the very next day. And in this interview, we started out with a basic matrix question, and then we proceeded with a graph question. So now in the technical interviews, I'd like to say Google especially will purely focus on data structures and algorithms. So if you are well versed in with all of the basic data structures and basic algorithms, you would be able to clear these rounds with ease. And the questions will also not be very straightforward. You would have to understand the underlying data structure and algorithm that you have to implement. And also, it is very much recommended that you discuss all of the possible approaches, going from brute force, better approach, and optimal approach. And it is also important to discuss about the time and space complexities for each approach. So after these two technical rounds and waiting for 2 further weeks, I received the offer from the recruiter. Any questions about the hiring process, I would be happy to answer after the session as well. And then we can go to the last slide, Shweta. So yeah, now that the applications have already opened up for the second years, these are some suggestions that I would give because these are some things that I have followed and a couple of my friends have also got into Google. And it's completely fine if you're in your first year, if you don't have any of it, it's the best time to start. Do get started with all of these and try to create a resume, something similar to what I suggest now for all the first year students. And if you're in your second year, do follow these before you apply. If you have already applied, just make sure that you make these changes for the next companies and opportunities. But if you haven't already applied, try to make a resume in alignment to these. And if you're in your third year as well, there is no need to worry. Google will open up the winter internship applications when you're in your fourth year. And if there are any fourth year folks out there, Google will open up the opportunity for full-time employment as well. So this particular factors, or like all of these things, will definitely help everyone out there, irrespective of the year that you are in. So to get started with, this is something that I think a lot of folks are not familiar with. So making a resume, there are multiple sources out there. You can make one with Google Docs, with Word. There are pre-existing templates, but I would definitely suggest you to explore LaTeX. LaTeX is a programming tool which will help you in creating your resume, and you can use a website called Overlay, which also has some previously made templates, and you just have to fill in your details. Now, I'll tell you why LaTeX is important because LaTeX will definitely help you create a structured resume, which will say, for example, lot of companies have ATS, which are software tools that companies use to process your applications, bulk applications, and the LaTeX resume does help in parsing very easily. And also having a simple LaTeX resume will also catch the eye of the recruiter because most of the recruiters definitely expect you to keep all of the important details like your projects, your skills, and your achievements and so on. So I would definitely suggest you to explore LaTeX and do visit the website called Overleaf where you have a lot of templates already. Choose a simple template and fill in your details. It is a little complex and I would definitely suggest you to spend and invest some amount of time to make a good resume that will last you for your entire degree. And after that, if you haven't already started, I would definitely suggest you to start with, learning data structures and algorithms. Or if you're interested in doing competitive programming, which is quite different from data structures and algorithms, where you would be required to use a lot of mathematical intuition. So I have started doing data structures and algorithms problems since my first year of college, along with my peers, and I would definitely suggest you to solve it in groups so that you will get to learn more perspectives as well. Yeah, there are many resources out there. So if it's already been covered in your curriculum, that's really good. If not, it's you can start today as well. Go explore all of the basic data structures and basic algorithms and try to solve as many problems as possible. There are many coding platforms out there like LeetCode, CodeForces, and CodeChef. These three are my go-to. You can explore others as well like Geeks for Geeks, Coding Ninjas, and so on out there. But before all of that, make sure you have a strong grip on any one programming language which has object-oriented paradigm to it, like Python, Java, and C++. This is something that is very much recommended. And moving on to the next part, which would be having good amount of projects. Now, like I've said before, um, recruiters will definitely look for at least 2 to 3 projects in your resume, and that took some good amount of quality, like not just a simple front end or some kind of API, but a particular website which is having a good front end and back end, or an application which is integrating some kind of machine learning model and so on. So do invest some amount of time to make some kind of good projects, which will definitely help you in the long run. And then if you're in your second year, you would be applying for this role, and I would definitely suggest you to get a referral, because getting a referral will boost your application a lot, and the recruiter will definitely process your application faster compared to others. And also, if you are doing lead code, code chef, and code courses, I'm pretty sure you would be familiar with participating in coding contests. And that will be reflected in your ratings. And recruiters would definitely love to look at, good amount of ratings, like you being a knight or a pupil would definitely catch the eye of the recruiter. And then if you have already some kind of experience, say being it's a traditional software development or any kind of marketing, product internship, to keep it in your resume, because experience is something that just kind of demonstrates that you are capable of being able to take part in an organization and take part of a project. So if you have any experience, feel free to add it. And like I've said before, this is also something very niche, open source contributions. If you're familiar with it, if you've participated in some major open source contributions like Google Summer of Code, Girl Script Summer of Code, or even Hacktoberfest, this definitely will be a very good amount of, very good topic for the recruiters to have a chat with you, because that will basically demonstrate your development skills. So if you have any open source contributions, definitely add it in your resume. So these are some things that me and my friends have added in my resume, and there are some other things as well, like I've mentioned before, like hackathons, advancing to the finals, or winning some kind of hackathons. These kind of achievements are also very good in your resume. So I think that's the end of the presentation that I have prepared. Um, I think we can proceed with the Q&A session, Shweta. Um, so Arvind has a question. Please speak specifically. Talk about how did you make your resume. So first of all, I made my resume with LaTeX on the website Overleaf. I didn't choose a particular template. I kind of mix and matched two three templates, and majorly in my resume, I've written about my education, my skills, and four projects which are majorly revolving around machine learning and web development, because that are the two domains that I primarily work in. And then I've added a couple of achievements and positions of responsibility. So I think the most important thing to add in your resume would be your skills and your projects. And apart from that, I would also recommend you to add coding profiles if you are actively been doing coding in platforms like LeetCode, Codeforces, and CodeChef. Um, so it's pretty straightforward, and I would say anything that you think is some like being considered by a recruiter, anything that you have done is definitely valuable. And I would say add it to your resume. Make sure your resume doesn't have any spaces left as well. So thank you very much for asking this question, Pradeep, because this is something that I think I should discuss. So especially with Google, in the two technical interview rounds, you would not be asked any serious fundamental questions. You would be purely tested based on your DSA or competitive programming skills, in general problem solving skills. They will not ask you any questions about object oriented programming or database management systems or computer networks or any such kind. But for other companies, you would definitely but for other companies you would definitely need such kind of knowledge. And I would say the best way to learn all of these is just go on YouTube, go type that subject and try to learn from some kind of tutors who are teaching it. Or I would also suggest you to go explore some kind of textbooks. There are plenty of resources out there. Usually, when I'm trying to revise such subjects, I would go to Geeks for Geeks and try to see all of the recently asked questions or some kind of major notes about these subjects. I hope that answered your question. Uh, I would agree. Yes, DSA is a little tough, and eventually you will get used to it. So in my first year, first I just focused on mastering a particular programming language. I started out with Python, First, I've learned Python, its basic syntax, and then its object-oriented paradigm. And then I started learning all the basic data structures. Now, luckily, my college covered data structures as part of its curriculum. And if your college doesn't, it's completely fine. I would say if, consistently learning every day and implementing would definitely make it easier to you. And yeah, once you have mastered all the basic data structures, there would be some very famous algorithms like binary search, sliding window. These are some things that breadth for search, depth for search. Google definitely loves to ask these kind of algorithms. So I would say consistently go through, make a roadmap, understand what all you have to learn, and do learn. So yeah. And coding down. So Google doesn't really conduct any online assessment for off-campus hiring. So say if Google is visiting on campus for you, Google will conduct an online assessment, a coding round, basically, like you suggested. But if it's off-campus hiring, which is how I got hired, you will not be asked any online assessment round. And also, yes, the entire coding rounds, the technical interviews will all be online. You'll not be asked to visit the office and give on-site interviews for internships. Um, which PL would you prefer? Programming language, I believe, PL. Okay. So I can code in Python and Java. I'm familiar with C++ as well, thanks to my internship. So about my internship though, I interned in the Workspace App Search Quality team in the summer of 2024 in Bangalore, and my tech stack was based on C++ and Java. And I was familiar with C in my first year of college, but I've learned C++ in detail for my internship. So I prefer Python and Java, and anything that works for you, go ahead with it, and just make sure that you are, not making any syntax errors. And there is no need to worry. First of all, don't get overwhelmed. Don't compare with everyone else. Doing projects is actually very fun. So most of the projects that I do are basically some kind of things that you would want to use in real life. Say, I remember doing a project once which integrates a machine learning model into a website. And that machine learning model basically detects your posture and triggers an alarm if you are sitting in a bad posture without sitting up straight. So this is a very fun project to do, and me and my friends did it like over a span of 2 weeks. And yeah, so I would say consider doing projects as fun. Do it with your friends. That will make it more fun. And if you do a project with someone else together, it will make your work easy, and both of you will end up having a project in your resume. So um, it's never too late to start doing projects. You can be in your first year or in fourth year, any year. And also, if you have learned Java and Python, that's a very good place to start as well. There are some Python like libraries like TK Inter or some kind of frameworks like Django, Flask, and Java Spring Boot, and you can do a lot of projects with that as well. So that will help you gain more knowledge in Python and Java too. And do participate in hackathons; it's really good. Yes, Bhargav. This internship is only for second year students, but rest assured, Google has an internship for every year. For fourth years, it's winter internship, 6 months, and for third years, it's free internship. For first years, there is a program called Women Engineers, and it's only for females. So, Leela, doing a hackathon itself is for you to create a project, and also if you do well, you can add it to your achievement. And I would definitely suggest you to do projects because that is something recruiters would look for. So, I would say hackathons and projects will boost your resume and will help you get shortlisted. I hope that answers your question. So, Madhuri, like I've said, there is no internship for first year students yet by Google. Um, but there is a program for females especially. It's called Women Engineers. To explore, I'm also part of Women Engineers program, and yeah, it's a very good opportunity. So Hitanshu, so it does not matter about like the amount of skills that you have. Say it starts with a basic programming language. So like I've said before, this internship is for second year students, and the amount of knowledge that is expected from a second year student is actually very less. So you having a good command over one programming language, some basic data structures and algorithms, and say any particular domain and a couple of projects, at least two, would definitely boost your chances in getting selected for STEP. So my guidance would be say if you have already mastered a language, if you haven't, do so. And if you haven't, learn the data structure and algorithm implementations in that language. And just try to do 2 or 3 projects with the amount of time that you have. At least, even not for now, like I've mentioned before, whatever that I've suggested will definitely help you for every company out there and for all of the further internships that Google will roll out. I hope that answers your question. So Sridipti, I don't think you can apply again, and I would definitely not recommend you to apply with another email. That is not a good practice, and it's completely fine. Let's just see what will happen, but just make sure that you will add these in your resume for further opportunities. So, say considering Java, Python, and C as programming language, you don't have to learn every programming language out there. If your college curriculum is like teaching you something, some particular languages, that's good. But having a good command of one language is recommended, and two is very good. And once again, it doesn't hurt to learn about something, right? It's always fun to learn. So, explore as much as you can is what I could suggest. Don't just stick to one. To my knowledge, I don't really think if Google has roles open for exclusively Java developers because most of the times Google hire for software engineers who will be working on Java or any other language based on the team that they are in. But yes, having a good amount of knowledge in Java and experience in Java full stack development, I think you have a good shot at Google. So Rupa, first of all, kudos that you have applied, and it's completely fine. There are further opportunities ahead, and like I've said, do try to add all of the key factors that I've mentioned in my presentation. Um, in your resume and also try to get a referral because say you having good amount of projects, you having good achievements and a good say CGPA will definitely help you shortlist your resume. And sometimes the recruiters might have like overlooked your application because of the huge amount of applications. So that's why I try to get a referral from next time. Try connecting with folks on LinkedIn, and just try to create your resume with some students who got shortlisted. That will definitely help you next time, and I wish you luck with the next opportunity that you apply. It's completely fine if you have done till Python, so you just need one programming language to apply, and you should also have a couple of projects. So if you are already familiar with doing projects in Python, like using Flask or Django kind of frameworks, that's very good. TK or as well. If not, I would definitely suggest you to explore some other language or some kind of domain and do projects. So I think that is all that is required for to apply for this internship. So that's a very good question, Vasavi. So often students like you and me tend to struggle in finding good amount of problem statements to do a project on. So usually this is something that I do. A lot of companies or places conduct hackathons, right? And they have their own problem statements. So I kind of go to them, those websites, and just look through the problem statements. And if I find any problem statement that is fun to work on, I would choose it. And mostly those problem statements are pretty complex, involving more than one domain, like machine learning and web development together, or some like you have to create some kind of complex neural network and all of that. So I think your best go-to is to just go through all of these hackathon statements, or just look around you. You might find something that worth solving in the form of a technical solution. So I think that would be a best strategy. This is something that I would definitely suggest. especially Smart India Hackathon. It has around 500 plus problem statements. So you can choose any one of it and try to create a solution for that. I hope that answered your question. Yes, absolutely. So not just me, couple of my friends also interviewed with Google, and couple of friends are already at Google as well. So that is how I kind of understood that Google tends to ask a lot of graph questions, or Google tends to ask a lot of dynamic programming questions. So by discussing with your friends, one, you will be able to get exposure because say you have an approach and your friend might have an approach, both could be correct, and you having an idea about these two approaches will definitely help you a lot. So I would say some of the frequent DSA topics that Google especially will ask, which I have been asked and my friends have been asked, would be focus on arrays, graphs, and trees. I think these would be enough. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. My job, so I interned as a 12-week intern. So I was just assigned a project and I had a manager and I had a step partner as well. And my work was, it's a company internal project. I worked basically on machine learning and data processing pipelines. It was a very fun project and I enjoyed a lot and I learned a lot as well. And most of my project was based on C++ and Java and a couple of Google internal tools like I've mentioned before. So yeah, I hope that's it. So there is no criteria on how much amount of DSA is needed. Like I've said, a good programming language, basic data structures, and basic algorithms. Like I've suggested, PFS, DFS, binary search, sliding window, Kadani's algorithms. These are some kind of basic algorithms that you need to know, and potentially questions will be asked on these. So I think that would be enough as a step into. Um, Such as for spring or rolling internships that will allow me to participate after training. Yeah. So I'm not really, I don't really understand the question very well. So, like I've said, there will definitely be more internships apart from STEP. There will be an internship for third years, which is the SWE internship, and there will be a winter internship for fourth years. And after you gain more amount of knowledge and prepare in your second year, you can definitely participate in those internship hiring processes as well. And yeah, after December, definitely you can look forward to the SWE internship, which will open in June and July, and the winter internships, which will open in say around August and October, and then December, you will have your step up application. So yeah, once you start preparing, I'm definitely sure you can crack any of one of it. So that's a very good question. I'm also from a Tier 3 college, and honestly, your college, like one of the best part about Google is very inclusive. You don't really care which college you come from, which background you come from. Everyone is treated as same. Everyone is incredibly humble. So it's not about Tier 3, Tier 1 colleges. And once again, you make your resume, your knowledge make your resume. Having good amount of projects and you learning as many skills as possible will definitely make you stand out. So I think my resume, the amount of projects that I have put, 4 projects, definitely helped me stand out perhaps because those 4 projects were like of different kind of domains. One was a web development, two were web development. One was a machine learning project. The other was a simple TK Inter project with some kind of SQLite database. So I think good amount of projects helped me stand out as a student from Tier 3 college. So Sonali, this is a very good question. Thank you for asking this. So off-campus hiring, I don't think Google has a criteria that this amount of CGPA should have. Um, Above 8 would definitely be suggested. Below 8, it could be a little an issue. But if you're on campus, like Google is visiting on campus, definitely your campus might have set some kind of standard that students above the CGPA are allowed to apply. So yeah, CGPA could potentially be a factor to be considered while hiring process. The questions are completely coding. You would be given a question on the screen. You would be expected to discuss the approach with the interviewer, and if the interviewer is satisfied, you would be expected to code it up. So, It's completely fine if you are doing DSA with Java. You don't have to shift to Python. So this is something I would definitely suggest. I just want you to have a knowledge about more than one programming language, so that in case you go to a company, say for example you're doing Java and that particular company uses C++. This actually happened to me, and it will definitely allow you to adapt quickly if you have an idea about more than one programming language. So if you're already doing DSA in Java, stick with Java. Don't shift to Python. I hope that answered the question. So I solved in both Python and Java. I started out with Python and then I shifted to Java after learning Java as part of college curriculum. But in my interviews, I gave my interviews in Python. Because Python, I can write code faster and spend more time discussing with the interviewer. That's a great question, Janani. Once again, thank you for remembering that having a good amount of like LinkedIn presence is very important. So I would say that's an entire different, session. Like having a good LinkedIn profile. I would say you having a professional profile picture, some kind of description about you in the header bar, and you making consistent posts about the things that are happening in your life that you are doing as part of your career, and updating your skills, achievements, and majorly like experience section and so on, education section. So this will definitely make your LinkedIn profile look good, and whenever you put connection to someone, they tend to accept it, and you can have a good conversation as well. Um, So yeah, it's completely fine. First of all, Pradeep, do not stress yourself about the amount of time that you have. There are so many opportunities out there, and coming to the DSA Master Guide, important. All of that, I don't really think I can say that this is an important topic and this is the syllabus for STEP or anything. But something that I have used preparing for STEP would be the Striver SDE sheet and Need Code 150 sheet. So Striver and Need Code are two things that really help me a lot in learning DSA. They have a list of questions which cover all possible data structures and algorithms. So if you have less amount of time and if you want to do DSA rigorously for your interviews, do check out NeetCode 150 or Striver SDE sheet. And just go on Google them and you'll find them for free. That's a very good question. So, yes, it does. So, after my internship ended as a step intern, based on my performance and my manager's feedback, the recruiting team offered me to return to Google as a SWE intern for the next year. That's how I received the offer to intern as a SWE intern for next summer. So yes, STEP internship does offer an opportunity, and so does every internship opportunity for a lot of companies. They tend to convert students who are interning to full time because they are already accustomed with the company's code base, and it's easier for them to hire these people, these folks as full time employees rather than some entire new person. So yes. That's a very good question. So I would definitely suggest you to do competitive programming apart from doing lead code. So I would suggest Code Forces and Code Chef are good to go. Code Chef is comparatively, uh, you know, user friendly, beginner friendly, I would say. And Code Forces is having a very good amount of questions, which will help you gain good amount of knowledge over a particular data structure or algorithm. So apart from lead code, I have done Code Chef and Code Forces. You can also do that. Thank you for asking that question. I myself have not explored much of data science apart from college curriculum, and I would say yes, there are plenty of opportunities in any stream, as long as say you are doing something that no one else is doing, something that is only unique to you. So whatever domain that you're choosing, say for example data science, try to do something that makes you stand apart from the rest of the other folks who are doing the same thing. So yes, anything is worthy, and I'm pretty sure you have enough opportunities. There are many data scientist roles in Google as well. No, absolutely not. Like I've mentioned, the eligibility criteria would be core computer science students and allied branches like cybersecurity and all of that, and also electronics branches as well. So STEP internship itself is a hiring process, and once you get selected, the team that you'll be matched or the domain that you'll be working in is completely random or up to Google. So I was given the opportunity to work in the machine learning domain inside Google. So a couple of my friends worked with front end, couple of my friends worked in cybersecurity as well. So it's not about dev only. It all depends up to Google once you get selected. I hope that answered your question. Definitely. Google has a role for everyone. Apart from traditional software development, Google definitely requires, students who are pursuing their bachelor's in arts and science. Just do tend to check the roles available on Google Career Portal, which mentions the eligibility criteria that they need someone from Bachelor of Arts and Science. So yes, Google has a place for everyone. My open source experience. Okay, so I got to know about open source with the program called Hacktoberfest when I was in my second year of college, and I wasn't able to make the entire PRs, like four PRs kind of thing, and successfully finish Hacktoberfest because I was getting into development, like the kind of development that people would expect. Like the projects that I have done were just for me and my friends, and they were just basic front and back end projects. So it was very overwhelming. I would say it is very fun too because I'm just kind of contributing to the code to someone that I've never even met. And there is a possibility that they might not like or comment on my code, and it's all part of a learning experience. So it all started with Hacktoberfest, and I myself, I would definitely like to take part in Google Summer of Code or Haskell Summer of Code. Haskell Summer of Code is similar to Google Summer of Code, but only for Haskell functional programming projects. It's very niche once again, and yeah, that's all I can say about my experience. There are so many folks out there that are doing very wonderful job in open source. I would definitely recommend you to just follow their story and connect with them for more better experience. So once again, Meghna, very good question. When you're in your first year, you might not be very familiar with a lot of domains or say languages and frameworks. So I would say explore as much as you can. There are so many resources out there like YouTube, GitHub, and like I've suggested, if you need some kind of problem solving statements and all of that, like projects, statements, definitely go on to hackathon websites and look through the requirements and the problem statements given by that particular hackathon. Based on that, you would say, come across a statement that would expect you to solve a issue of a particular user, and you can brainstorm thinking like, okay, so I need to create a website for this. And not to create a website, I might have to learn front-end technologies and some back-end technologies, and you can proceed from there. So just try to brainstorm and explore as much as you can. So I hope that answers your question. So I cannot really say if AI and ChatGPT will aid. It will definitely make the process a lot smoother because, see, for example, LaTeX is not something a lot of people are familiar with. So, in case if you run into some errors or some kind of issues while doing your resume with LaTeX, I would definitely suggest you to take help from ChatGPT or some kind of other AI tool, which will help you make your process easier. So, making a resume entirely with AI and ChatGPT, I myself have never done it. I don't really know if anyone has ever done it also and get shortlisted. So, always, I would say, use AI as a aiding and helping tool um, that will make your work easier. So, yeah, I hope that answered your question. So that's a very interesting question. Most other times I tend to think the same. Thank you for asking that, Tarun. But yeah, so I think majorly DSA and CP questions just kind of are a demonstration that you inherently can solve problems and you have the problem solving skills. And majorly you would do all of this in the presence of another interviewer, which means you are collaborating with someone and discussing with someone and not doing it alone. So I guess most of the times companies would just look for your communication skills and how well you can work in a team, and also how you can think of a solution for a problem that you probably have never seen before. So I think the core idea of DSA problems would be that, and it kind of changed over time. But yeah, companies in future definitely would probably find different ways to test candidates on. Yeah. Yes, you can. You can definitely include. Just mention that it's still ongoing, or while you're writing the description, just say that I am currently developing an application which is solving so and so problem. So you can include a project in your resume which is ongoing in that way. Question as well, because this is something that you can get started with, especially with projects. Say you have learned just Python, and doing a project with Python is way better than just learning an entire different framework and like a front end framework and doing it right. So I would say explore on Google. So me and my friends through a program in college kind of got to know that there is a library called TK Inter. I hope the pronunciation is correct. I'm not really sure, but yeah, it's Picainter, and it's a library that will help you create user interfaces with Python, purely Python, and some kind of object-oriented practices in the code that you write. So I would say, whenever you've learned a language, you just have to go online and try to see if there is anyone else who is doing projects in the same language as you have done. GitHub is a very good source, and you see a project that someone has done. You don't have to entirely do something what they have done, but try to change something, tweak a little, maybe change the purpose or add a new kind of feature. I was surprised when a friend of mine did project in entirely C, created a library in C which basically has every data structure implementation. So I think you can find projects in any programming language. You just have to explore and yeah, have good amount of command on the language as well. That answered your question. Yes, you definitely can. Google definitely will hire some. They don't just hire someone from a BTech degree or a Bachelor's of Engineering degree. They definitely have roles that require Bachelor of Science degree. I definitely would suggest you to go through the career portal and look for such roles. I did find a lot of folks who are from Bachelor of Science, Master of Science degree as well in Google when I was working. So Hidanshu, yes, first of all, you can learn DSA in Python, and yes, learning DSA in short amount of time is incredibly hard. And I would say start from day one. Let today be the day one, and do consistently. And like I've said, flow are important topics. When you don't know where to get started, especially like you go on lead code, there are like 3,000 plus questions, and it's kind of hard. I completely understand. So that's why I would suggest you to choose any kind of problem solving sheet. Like I've suggested, Striver SC or Lead Code 150 has, like, say, a list of questions which cover all possible data structures and algorithms. That kind of help you understand the flow and would help you, migrate from one topic to another while also connecting with the topics like you've learned before. Like, so yeah, I would say choose any of these sheets, and there are so many other sheets as well. There's one by Geeks for Geeks. Um, there is one by I think Scalar. So yeah, choose any sheet that you think is good and try to do the problems according to the sheet topics. I hope that answers your question. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have this question. And yes, Harshini, it is necessary to upload transcripts. So transcripts are the way the recruiters can understand that you are an eligible candidate. You're currently in your second year, and you do not have any kind of say subjects that need to be retaken. So transcripts are very important, and you do have to apply with transcripts. Um, CGPA does matter, but not to a very huge extent. And I would definitely not suggest to have any subjects that you have to retake again. Usually, shortlisting could be hard. I don't think I've ever seen someone who got shortlisted. So I would suggest, yeah, increase your CGPA. No, not at all. The hiring process is still going on. The applications aren't closed yet, I think, as much as to my knowledge. So now, when the applications stop, like being processed, like the shortlisting process will start and it will go on till March. I remember some of my friends who were interviewing in March as well. So The process is not at all finished. So yes, HTML, CSS, JavaScript are three major front-end technologies, and having a good amount of knowledge in those three will definitely help you create some very good websites. A lot of front-end work. So not just for Google, but they are useful for any role that you apply as part of your, career. So there is no language barrier with Google. Like I've said, Google is very inclusive in terms of everything. There's no language that Google requires you to code in. I personally would suggest Python, Java, or C++. So, yeah. It's completely fine. There is always time. Just start practicing, start learning from now on. Say choose a programming language, choose a domain, and try to gain as much of knowledge as you can in that particular language or domain. So it's completely fine. No one is ever perfect. Best of luck with that. So, Archit, once again, there is no particular level of TSA because the hiring criteria for each company would differ. So, I would say once again, have an understanding of all of the basic data structures and algorithms and try to solve as many problems as possible. Um, I think the key would be to be able to identify what data structure you need to use or what algorithm you need to use when you look at a problem and try to solve it in the best way possible. So, once you think you have reached that level, then I think you are good to go. And even if you are not, it's completely fine because often you get lucky. Often you might be asked a data structure that you are already. There's no level of TSA, it's a continuous journey. Wonderful. I would definitely love to. So, like I said, I've had four projects in my resume. One would be a simple full stack development project that I have created with React and Firebase. It's basically a travel management kind of website where I've added an API, a weather API, to just understand what kind of weather is there in the place that you're going, and it'll also allow you to book rooms for by the valuable owners out there. And the other would be, like I've mentioned, it's a machine learning project. So that project basically connects to a model which takes two images as input. And the first image would be considered as a source for context, and the second image would be considered as a source for style. And it basically creates like an image which is a mixture of the context and style. So what I basically, me and my friend did is we created a user interface which will take two images as input and sends these input as like images as input to the model connected in the backend. The model in the backend generates the image and sends the image back, and we'll display it in the website. And yes, it's pretty simple, but back then I was still exploring and I decided to put it because I really enjoyed doing this project. And then was a simple take in the project that I did with a couple of my friends. It's a hostel management application with SQLite database. And then last was then an ongoing web development project. It is a portfolio that I was creating for a company. I hope that I answered your question. Yes, you can do projects by creating. You can create projects by taking help of ChatGPT. Just make sure that you're understanding the code that you are writing. Don't just take the code because often it could be wrong or often it could be the way that it could be working the way you don't want it to work. So you need to understand the ChatGPT or any AI tool is just to make your work easy, a lot of redundant work easy, but not just entirely dependent on the ChatGPT. So often like I would completely agree that a lot of times I don't remember the proper CSS for something, and I would definitely take help from GPT to just customize my structure of HTML or JS, some kind of things with ChatGPT. So yeah, do take help, but don't depend entirely on AI tools. Okay, thank you. Thank you for asking that question. So I was just hesitant a little because I'm not really sure how much I can reveal. But yeah, so like I've said, I worked in Workspace App Search Quality team where I worked on data processing pipelines which are connected to the search engine optimization models, which basically suggest those models are responsible for suggesting you the results when you type in a keyword on any workspace products like Gmail, Drive, Docs, and so on. And yes, cutting edge technologies, and I would say they use a lot of complex machine learning concepts. So um, I wouldn't definitely classify as entirely cutting edge or foundation and all of that. Overall, it's fun, but at the same time, the code base is entirely legendary. It's been written like around 20 years back also. So I wouldn't definitely just classify them in one another. It's completely dependent on the file that I was working on as well some days. So yeah, I just worked on one single project and it was a privacy policy. I had to implement it with their partner, and it happened for the entire 12 weeks. And after my project ended a little early, I also worked on some stretch goals, which are some additional tasks given by my manager. So I hope I answered that question. So, like I've mentioned in my timeline, when I applied in December, I received a call to like that I'm shortlisted in January, and my interviews were scheduled in January itself. So, I would definitely suggest you to expect a call in December, January, like a month after that you apply. I'm not really sure how because Google didn't mention when they are closing the applications, but apply as soon as you can. Often, I think these days I've seen a lot of companies open applications and close because huge number of applications are coming in, and even I myself couldn't apply to one company because of that. So, apply as soon as possible before they close. So in third year, you can apply for SWE internship. You don't have to worry about STEP again. SWE is one opportunity Google will offer. And I'm really sorry that you applied the wrong resume because it's one good opportunity. Um, let's just hope for the best and see if you get shortlisted. Yeah, but do make sure you don't do the mistake again. That's a very good question. I think if I could go back, I would definitely focus on doing more DSA because I haven't done like 100% DSA when I was preparing for STEP. And even now, I do feel like, in my interview, I was able to think of a solution that day, that time. And if I weren't, I probably would have not gotten that opportunity. So, do more amount of DSA, solve more number of problems, be as confident as you can so that the imposter syndrome won't follow you. I say the only way is to do good projects, do DSA as much as you can, and make a very good resume. So it's completely fine. Like I've said, choosing a particular domain is hard, and explore as much as you can. You have like 4 years of undergrad degree, but at some point, just figure out what you want to do. Figure out that you want to create websites or Android applications or work in the domain of machine learning. Um, and also, just don't care about online tools and all. You being good will definitely imply that you cannot be replaced by any online tool. So don't worry about online tools and all of that. You do something that it cannot do. And I know it's hard. I definitely know it's hard. So yeah, it all takes time. Yes, I don't think I can reveal my stipend. So it varies from year to year, and I'm not really sure if I can reveal my stipend or salary. But this year, some folks posted that it's 1 point. I would say it's somewhere close. And yes, they do offer some kind of additional perks like relocation benefits. And when it comes to mentorship programs, say for a student who is just finished like their second year of college and are very clueless and are expected to work on a project in some place like Google, and Google does offer that. So I met a wonderful person as a my mentor in Google. Yeah, they do offer a mentorship program. I don't think so. So I did find a couple of folks who weren't just girls. during my STEP internship. So I don't think it's just for girls, but always it doesn't hurt to apply. Once again, if it's not STEP, there could be an opportunity for SWE and winter as well. Entirely DSA. Like I've mentioned, Google doesn't really ask about projects or CS fundamentals. They only ask about, pure DSA, like pure data structures and algorithms or problem solving kind of questions, puzzles kind of questions. So I would say focus on DSA, and like I've mentioned, all the basic topics like arrays, trees, graphs, um, and some major algorithms like binary search, BFS, TFS, sliding window, Kadani, all of these would definitely, I think, will help you during your technical rounds. Yeah, good question. Like I've mentioned, for second years it's STEM, third years it's V, for fourth years it's a winter opportunity, winter internship, and also for fourth years there is an opportunity to interview as a full-time employee directly. It will be around 4 rounds or something, and yeah, there is a way to get into Google, whatever year that you are in or whatever experience that you have. I hope I answered your question. I would say my problem solving abilities and coding skills, they do kind of just come under the same tree. And teamwork experience, yes, did enjoy talking about how me and my friends always like sit around and solve questions together or do projects together. So I think the interviewer was a little intrigued with that. Google does really care a lot about whether you will be a good fit or not in a team. So always have a smile and have a pleasant conversation. I hope I answered your question. I think the most challenging thing would be my abilities only. I keep thinking that I can always be better. I have to work hard, and sometimes it is very demotivating for me with the way I perform. I might not be able to solve a problem or do well in a particular coding contest or get rejected by a company. So, my challenging aspect would be just, um, you know, me not being confident in my abilities back then. And I would definitely suggest you to practice as much as you can to overcome it. The better you are at something, the more confident you are. Like this is something that I always believe in. Confidence is always fueled by knowledge. So the more knowledge you have, the more confidently you can speak.
Thank you, Satvika, for this wonderful session. Unfortunately, I think we have to wrap this Q&A session because a lot of questions are being repeated, and also there are some questions that can be asked, but again, they are being repeated. So I think we'll be wrapping this session up here. And students, thank you for your questions. Thank you for your enthusiasm throughout the session. Thank you for your wonderful questions. And thank you, Satvika, for enlightening us students. Also, I'm really sorry for the students who have their questions unanswered. If you want your questions to be answered, if you have more questions and if you want more depth or in detail answers, you can definitely mail us to nexusform@gmail.com. Write to us at nexusform@gmail.com. Write your questions. We will definitely answer them to you. We'll send all of your questions to the speaker itself. She'll curate her time. She'll curate the answers for you. Definitely will help you out. Whatever you have will always help you. And thank you so much for joining today's session. Also, if you want to be the next speaker for the session, you can always fill up a form, that is speaker interest form. I hope you all have the link tree with you, Nexus Worm link tree, where you'll find different opportunities presented there. Please stay updated and follow us in LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. Also, we have two programs. that is Campus Ambassador Program and Speaker Interest Form. So, if you want to become a speaker for our next session, then you can definitely fill out the speaker interest form, what topic you want to select, what topic you want to talk on, whatever it is, be it tech or non tech, you can definitely become a Nexus Form speaker. Also, we have a Campus Ambassador Program. Unfortunately, we're not taking responses right now, but we'll be opening up the form very soon. We have been working on the first batch of campus ambassadors, that is form captains. We have the first batch with us. We are working with them. We'll definitely roll out the form sooner so that you all can be a part of Nexus Form community as well. And stay connected with us through our communication channels, that is our WhatsApp channel and Telegram channel. If you want anything regarding job updates, internship updates, events, boot camps, workshops, whatever it is, be it tech or non-tech, everything is available in our community because we always try to bridge the gap between technalism and interpersonal skills. So, yeah, that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure that you have our link tree with you. Visit our link tree and go through our channels, go through our social media channels, go through our speaker interest form as well, and try to become the next speaker for our sessions. Thank you and have a great day ahead. Thank you so much for joining.